What is up, guys? Meg Ever in the video, and today we're doing a diorama dissection. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I've kind of been away, and this was an amazing set to do one on. So this is the Scarab. It was made a long time ago. I believe I want to say 2013, but I just kind of got lucky, got it for a good price, and so I had to pick it up. We're gonna start out. If you don't know how the series works, a lot of other YouTubers do, just normal reviews. I kind of talk about how certain sets fit into dioramas. I do the basic review things, what's the set about, what's in it, but then at the end I say, how it applies to what I would use it for, which is primarily dioramas, correct? So let's start off with the characters, because I think this is one of the least important things in my opinion, just because the old articulation characters aren't really that special to me. So here are the two jackals. I wish that they would make a mold of this like faceplate. Apparently they're going to, but I just really like it. It looks good. The old fuel rod I really like, but I don't really care about. Believe that's an elite pilot. Old articulation elites just really have no appeal to me because the new ones are so much better. So I probably won't use anyone except for these jackals in the diorama. In dioramas rather. Here's some of the weapons. These are basic Covenant weapons. It would be nice if they were painted. And then here is actually something pretty spectacular. So let me just pick this up. So this is a hologram prophet of truth. It could be mercy, could be regret. I guess it doesn't really specify. But he has a throne. He has so much to offer. It's such a cool thing. You can have him talking to Covenant at a base or something. I think that this is actually an amazing thing, and this is probably the best. It's by far the best figure, but it's one of the best figures I think ever, just for like unique scenes anyway. So yeah, pretty cool right there. That definitely adds to the diorama ability of this set, if that's a word. All right, and now let's get to the Scarab itself. So first I want to just look at the front. We're going to do several different angles, pretty basic stuff at first. So here is just the front. It looks pretty convincing. It's impressive. The only thing that I really don't like is I don't like these side pieces, how there's so much open space right here, but it still looks good. What surprised me is how imposing it really is. So let me show you a figure standing on it. So I actually wanted to give 2 points of reference. Right there, that's a figure, and the figure actually looks big because I have him more frontal, more towards the front of the Scarab. Let's put him towards the back and see a little bit more what he looks like. He's absolutely puny compared to the Scarab, right? And then here is a Warthog. Again, look, it can literally just roll right under the Scarab, right? Like not even getting close to touching it, which is insane and makes it so imposing for dioramas. Again, I'm going to look a little bit more at the front right here. Here is the sort of beam firing part of the Scarab. Turns, it doesn't really go up or down. You can only turn it side to side. But, I think you'll be okay only being able to do that, right? Next is this little tiny, not tiny, but it's like a little control room. And I realized that I left a grunt in here from a diorama. But it has a screen, and there's actually Covenant text right there, which I thought was a really nice touch. Get that little grunt out. Here around the sides is one of the things that I think adds like such a cool diorama part to it, is there's these little walls, and they kind of seem small. They're on both sides. Like it seems like a very small detail to add, but what it does is it allows troopers to be on the Scarab and then be kind of using them as cover, other things like that. It just adds a more unique look to it. These mouthpieces can be moved a little bit, but nothing too crazy. And then here's another part, and this doesn't really help with most of the diorama aspects of it, but I think it's cool. And what you can do is you just lift up right here, and then there is a control room. So let me turn on the light real quick. So this control room has 2 seats, and then it also has a screen with some Covenant text on it. I think that's really cool. There's also this little hallway, and there is a way to access that, I believe, but you just have to go around. But yeah, I'm kind of done with the front view for a little bit. So look at how like imposing this is. And I mean, I know I showed you guys earlier with the warthog, but this thing it needs to be the centerpiece of a diorama. And I'm going to kind of share a little bit more about that later. Right now, I'm just kind of showing you guys what it's really about. Now, here's something I don't want to dwell on too long because it's not really that big of a deal, but this is the side view of the Scarab. So if you want to have it, going towards a building or something, like, there's a building right there, uh, it's still going to look good doing that, just not as good. But there's still some cool little features. I mean, look at this little thing opens up. It's like a weapons locker. You might be able to fit a small figure in there. Did not mean to turn the light. And then you can kind of see, where those figures could be ducking behind. I mean, here's a grunt. I'll just put it right there. It just adds a nice little touch to it, in my opinion. And then there's also these little parts under the beam firing part, and there you can kind of see they're not really big enough for a figure, but you could probably put a small grunt down there or something like that. And so yeah, I'll zoom out a little bit from this, and then we will go to another angle. And this is one of the coolest things about the Scarab, in my opinion. You would think that they would really just focus on the front, making that look good, but Mega went so far out of the way. This was Mega Blocks, not Mega Construx when this was made, so kind of an interesting little thing. They had this awesome, if you guys have played Halo 3, you shoot this thing and then it kind of blows up the Scarab. So that's really cool. There's also, I'm going to have to turn on the lights inside, but actually, rather, you actually have to shoot this right here to blow up the Scarab. Get another angle. And a figure can actually fit inside there. And if you want to have this in a diorama, even though it might be a small detail, you could have a Spartan or something, or an ODST if it's a really brave ODST, in there throwing a grenade at it, shooting it, something like that, and taking out the Scarab. Here is like the underbelly, and this actually does lead up to the, you see right there, that leads up to the control room that I showed you guys earlier. But yeah, this is kind of the basic details of it. So I'm going to talk about more of the diorama parts of it later in a moment. Alright, so here is kind of how you use this in a diorama. You want to have figures on it. It does add a lot of character. Typically, I would use more vibrant colored figures because this is like a very dark purple. So you want to have a color that stands out against it so you can really see it well. Especially if you kind of have more shoddy cameras like I do. Even though I am getting a new one, so be ready for that. But having figures standing on it makes a big point. The thing is this needs to be the centerpiece in your diorama, because if it's not, it kind of takes away from whatever story you're trying to tell, at least in my opinion. Again, you guys are welcome to do dioramas however you want, but as far as making it that centerpiece, it's so natural in it. I mean, you can easily imagine tanks and warthogs and mongoose and Spartans all going after this one thing, and only a small amount of little Covenant things on the outside. So as far as the actual build, the actual Scarab, it's such a cool piece that anyone who can get it for an affordable price, I definitely recommend it, because it can be the centerpiece of any diorama. I think that some people, if they have it, they would be tempted to overuse it. I certainly am, especially because it kind of takes up my whole table. But yeah, so don't make it a centerpiece of every diorama. That's kind of what I would advise. Now I kind of do want to talk about the diorama ability of the figures. I would say it's pretty low, just because they're old articulation figures. If they, remade the Scarab and made them new articulation figures, then we might have something on our hands, especially if they remade this pilot and the aesthetic elite in the in the new articulation. Now this piece still holds up today. This is like a level 10 diorama ability figure. So as far as what I would rate it in how good it is in dioramas, I want to give it a 9.5. There are some little details on it that needs to be fixed, and also better figures would be nice, but I can't really hold that against it because it was just a long time ago. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 9.5. If they remade this and made it just a little bit tighter, made the movement of the legs a little bit better, more expandable, and also made the beam part, basically this head part right here, they made it able to go up and down, I think that would add so much to it, and then it would be a 100% 10. So yeah, tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I really do appreciate you watching. I know I'm still working on these and how to do them, but yeah, I do appreciate it, and I really hope you guys have a great day. Please like and subscribe, and have a great day again. Bye.